Aaron stepped out of the transport pod, his boots crunching against the rocky surface of Viralia's cliffside. The wind blew sharply across the plateau, carrying the faint hum of distant energy engines. He adjusted the strap of his tool pack and gazed at the shattered glass bridge stretching across the chasm. Even from this distance, the bridge looked fragile, a thin, shimmering ribbon connecting two cliffs hundreds of meters apart. One wrong step, one miscalculation, and it could collapse. Aaron had heard stories about this bridge. Built decades ago by human engineers and improved over the years with alien energy reinforcement, it was a marvel of engineering. Yet its beauty hid a quiet danger. Cracks had started appearing in the energy nodes, and trade ships had reported strange vibrations. The Colony Council had sent him to inspect it, to ensure it remained safe for daily use. As he approached the bridge's edge, a figure appeared from the opposite side. A Viralian scientist with smooth, green-tinged skin and large, observant eyes was already examining one of the bridge's energy nodes. Her name, he learned later, was Nola. She carried a small holographic scanner, moving with precise, deliberate steps across the glass panels. "Human engineer," she said, her voice calm but firm. "You are late." Aaron smiled despite the tension in his chest. "I take it the Viralian calculation shows it's unstable," he asked. She nodded, pointing to a node that flickered faintly. "Energy fluctuations. If you step incorrectly, the bridge may fail. We must proceed carefully." Aaron glanced at the crackling node. He could feel the subtle hum in his chest, the vibration of energy beneath his feet. It was risky, but he knew he could handle it. He had crossed broken structures before, survived storms and collapses, but something about this bridge made his pulse quicken. They began to move across the panels together. Nola went first, scanning each section before letting Aaron step. The bridge swayed slightly, reacting to their weight. From below, the chasm yawned, dark and endless. Every movement required attention. Every breath seemed louder in the silence around them. "You humans are less precise than Viralians," Nola said, her eyes never leaving the scanner. "Do you understand the risk?" "I do," Aaron replied. "But sometimes you need intuition, not only calculations." Her eyes flicked to his face, just for a second, before returning to her work. "Intuition is not enough here." They reached the first unstable node, its energy flickering wildly. Aaron crouched, examining it carefully. Nola extended her hand, showing him the correct angle to adjust the energy stabilizer. Their hands brushed briefly as they worked, and for a moment, the tension between them shifted from danger to connection. Neither spoke, but a small spark of mutual respect, even curiosity, passed between them. Suddenly, a tremor ran through the bridge. Aaron caught himself against the edge, gripping a stabilizing beam, while Nola's scanner clattered to the side. The energy node flickered violently, and a small panel cracked under their weight. The wind roared through the chasm, carrying the sound of cracking glass. "Hold steady!" Aaron shouted over the noise. "We can make it!" Together, they adjusted the node, holding their positions as the tremor subsided. Heartbeats racing, they leaned back, breathing heavily. The chasm below seemed even deeper now, the bridge thinner, more fragile. When the danger passed, Nola finally looked at Aaron, a faint smile touching her lips. "You humans are reckless. And you Viralians are cautious," Aaron replied, grinning. "But I think we make a good team." For a long moment, they simply stared at the bridge, the fading sunlight reflecting in the glass panels, turning them into ribbons of orange and gold. The bridge, broken yet beautiful, mirrored their own situation, fragile, dangerous, but capable of holding together if approached with care. As they stepped back to the cliffside, the first hints of friendship and perhaps something more had formed. Both understood that the inspection would be long, that danger would be constant, but also that they might rely on each other in ways neither expected. Aaron looked at Nola and felt something unfamiliar, anticipation. Not just for the mission, but for the days ahead, for the shared challenge, for the bridge that now held more than just trade routes. It held the beginning of a connection neither of them fully understood yet. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting shadows over the shattered glass bridge. Aaron tightened his grip on his tools and took a deep breath. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. The next morning, a pale sun rose over the cliffs of Viralia, painting the shattered glass bridge in soft shades of pink and gold. Aaron arrived early, eager to continue the inspection. The bridge stretched across the chasm like a fragile thread, catching the morning light and shimmering with energy. Nola was already there, kneeling beside a flickering energy node, her scanner glowing faintly in the dawn. "Good morning, human," she said without looking up. "Ready to risk your life again?" Aaron chuckled. "As long as we both make it back in one piece, yes." Nola finally looked up, her eyes meeting his. There was a hint of amusement there, though she quickly returned to her work. Aaron admired her focus. She moved with careful precision, each step measured and deliberate, yet there was a grace to her motions that made her seem almost weightless on the glass. Together, they began walking along the bridge. The wind was calmer than the day before, but the energy nodes continued to flicker dangerously. Aaron studied each crack in the glass, noting the subtle vibrations beneath their feet. Nola's scanner emitted quiet beeps, giving them guidance, but the tension never fully left the air. "Watch this section carefully," Nola warned, pointing to a thin panel near the center. "The energy node here is unstable. It may not support weight for long." Aaron nodded, crouching low to inspect it. As he leaned closer, the glass beneath them hummed, and a tiny crack appeared, spreading slowly across the panel. He froze, heart pounding, and then saw Nola's hand reaching for his. "Take my hand," she said calmly. We moved together. Gripping her hand, Aaron followed her lead. Step by careful step, they crossed the dangerous section, the chasm yawning below like a silent threat. The bridge swayed slightly, but Nola's steady guidance kept them balanced. Once they reached a safer section, Aaron let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "I think I understand why the colony is worried," he admitted. "This bridge could collapse at any moment." Nola's eyes softened. "It has held for decades because people respect it. But even respect cannot prevent all accidents." They continued their work, testing nodes and documenting cracks. Every so often, the bridge would tremble, and Aaron would instinctively steady Nola, while she guided him with precise instructions. The danger created a silent rhythm between them, a combination of trust and dependence that neither had felt before. As midday approached, they paused on a small platform jutting from the side of the bridge. Below, the chasm seemed darker, almost endless. Above, the sky was bright and cloudless. They sat in silence for a moment, catching their breath. "Do you ever get scared?" Aaron asked quietly, surprising himself. Nola considered him for a moment. "Of course. Fear keeps me careful. But fear does not control me. It guides me." Aaron nodded, thinking about the times he had faced danger alone, relying only on his skill. But with Nola, it was different. He felt connected, as if their combined presence could somehow make the bridge stronger, even if only in spirit. A sudden gust of wind swept across the bridge, rattling the energy nodes and sending small cracks echoing through the glass. Aaron instinctively moved to shield Nola, and she grabbed his arm to steady herself. They laughed nervously, the sound echoing into the chasm. "Perhaps your human intuition is useful after all," Nola said, a small smile tugging at her lips. "And your precision keeps me alive," Aaron replied, grinning. They worked through the afternoon, documenting each unstable panel and adjusting the energy nodes where possible. By the time the sun began to dip toward the horizon, they had made significant progress. The bridge was still fragile, but they had learned its weaknesses, and they had learned to rely on each other. As they returned to the cliffside, their feet leaving the glass behind, Aaron felt a strange warmth in his chest. It was more than relief. It was admiration, respect, and something he did not yet fully understand. Nola glanced at him, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. They were no longer just colleagues on a dangerous mission. They were partners, connected by the bridge and by the shared thrill of facing danger together. That night, as Aaron sat in the colony barracks, he thought about the shattered glass bridge and the strange bond forming between him and Nola. The bridge had tested their courage and skill, but it had also tested their hearts. And though the work ahead would be difficult, he felt ready because he was no longer alone. Tomorrow, the bridge would demand more of them. But for the first time, Aaron realized that facing danger together made it easier, even thrilling. The bond between them was growing, fragile like the glass beneath their feet, yet strong enough to hold. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the cliffs of Viralia, casting long shadows across the shattered glass bridge. Aaron and Nola met at the edge of the bridge, their tools ready and determination clear in their eyes. The bridge seemed quieter than usual, but its beauty was deceptive. Every panel and energy node hid a potential danger, and today, they had more than just cracks to worry about. "Something doesn't feel right," Aaron said as he stepped carefully onto the first glass panel. His eyes scanned the energy nodes, looking for unusual flickers. "The vibrations are too irregular." Nola adjusted her scanner, her expression tense. "I agree. The energy readings are inconsistent. It's as if someone tampered with the nodes." Aaron froze. Tampered? But who would? Someone trying to slow trade, perhaps, Nola interrupted, her eyes scanning the chasm below. Or someone trying to gain control of resources. The bridge is critical to the colony. Whoever sabotages it has a goal. Aaron frowned. He had dealt with dangerous situations before, but sabotage was different. It was intentional, calculated, and hidden. Every step forward now carried more than physical risk, it carried the weight of suspicion. They began their inspection more carefully, working as a single team. Aaron would test the panels with human intuition, feeling for subtle weaknesses, while Nola read the energy readings, guiding him precisely. The bridge, once only fragile and unpredictable, now felt like a puzzle they needed to solve together. As they reached the middle of the bridge, a panel flickered violently, sending sparks into the air. Aaron grabbed Nola's hand instinctively, steadying her. Her gaze met his, and for a moment, the danger faded into the background. The connection between them was growing, quiet but undeniable. "Thank you," Nola said softly. I feel safer with you here." Aaron's heart skipped a beat. "I feel the same. But we have to stay focused." They moved carefully, documenting the sabotage, tracing faint fingerprints of tampering along the energy nodes. It became clear that someone had deliberately weakened certain nodes, creating a pattern of potential collapse. The realization added urgency to their work. After hours of careful inspection, they reached a small platform near the edge of the bridge. Nola projected the data she had collected into a holographic display. Panels glowed with red and orange highlights, marking the compromised sections. "It's worse than I thought," she admitted. "The sabotage is systematic. If we don't repair these nodes, the bridge could fail completely within days." Aaron studied the display. "We can fix it, but it will take coordination. We need to work together on every node, step by step." Nola nodded. "Then we will. Together." The word carried weight. It was more than just strategy, it was a promise. They began repairing the first compromised node, combining Aaron's hands-on skill with Nola's precise calculations. Each adjustment required careful timing and coordination. They had to communicate clearly, anticipate each other's movements, and trust completely. Hours passed in a rhythm of measured steps and careful repairs. The sun rose higher and then began to fall, painting the glass in golden and orange hues. During brief pauses, Aaron and Nola exchanged stories about their lives. Aaron spoke of human colonies, of challenges and adventures he had faced. Nola shared tales of Viralia, her studies, and her people's ways. Through these conversations, their bond deepened not just as colleagues facing danger, but as friends discovering each other's worlds. As evening approached, they repaired the last node for the day. The bridge, though still fragile, looked stronger, safer. Aaron stepped back and looked at Nola. "We make a good team," he said. She smiled, a soft, genuine curve of her lips. "Yes, we do." For a moment, they simply stood there, side by side, looking at the glowing bridge stretching across the chasm. The danger of the day, the tension, the shared effort, it all created a quiet warmth between them. Neither spoke, but they both knew the feeling. Finally, they returned to the cliffside. The wind whispered over the rocks, carrying with it a sense of accomplishment and quiet anticipation. Tomorrow, they would continue, facing the bridge's challenges and the sabotage that threatened it. But tonight, they allowed themselves a small moment of relief and a growing awareness of the bond forming between them. Aaron packed his tools, glancing at Nola. "See you tomorrow." Nola nodded. "I'll be here. Be ready for more surprises." Aaron smiled, a mixture of excitement and respect in his eyes. He realized that the bridge was not the only fragile thing on Viralia. Relationships, trust, and understanding were delicate too. And if handled with care, they could become stronger than anything else. As he returned to the colony barracks, Aaron thought about the bridge, the sabotage, and Nola. The day had been dangerous, exhausting, and thrilling. And in that thrill, he felt something new, something that promised warmth and connection, even in the most fragile and difficult places. The shattered glass bridge was more than a mission now. It was a path, one that could lead to discovery, teamwork, and perhaps, the beginnings of something more than either of them had expected. The next day, the sun rose pale and steady over Viralia, but the cliffs were shrouded in a thin mist. Aaron arrived at the shattered glass bridge with his tools, his boots crunching softly against the rocky edge. Nola was already there, standing at the edge of a panel with her scanner glowing faintly. "Morning, Aaron," she said, her voice calm yet alert. "The bridge seems quieter than yesterday, but I feel tension in the nodes." "Be careful." Aaron nodded. "I've learned to expect surprises. Let's see what today brings." They stepped onto the bridge together, moving slowly and deliberately. Each glass panel hummed beneath their feet, a reminder that the bridge was fragile. The energy nodes flickered in inconsistent patterns, showing that the sabotage was more extensive than they had thought. As they reached the center, Aaron noticed a section that seemed weaker than the rest. He crouched to examine the panel, tracing a crack that ran like a spiderweb across the glass. "Nola, this part, it doesn't feel stable. We need to reinforce it before we continue," he said. She stepped closer, scanning the energy readings. "Agreed. The fluctuations are dangerous. If we misstep, this section could collapse." Aaron reached out to adjust the energy stabilizer, but before he could finish, the bridge trembled violently. A gust of wind swept through the chasm, shaking the panels beneath their feet. Sparks flew from a nearby node, and a loud crack echoed through the air. "Hold on!" Aaron shouted, grabbing Nola's arm instinctively. Nola's hand tightened around his, and together they braced against the trembling glass. A panel beneath them shifted slightly, sending a small spray of energy sparks upward. Aaron's heart pounded, but his mind stayed sharp. He guided Nola to a safer spot, steadying her as she adjusted her scanner to stabilize the energy flow. They worked together, hands brushing occasionally, both aware of the danger yet focused entirely on the task. Step by careful step, they reinforced the panel, keeping communication tight and precise. The tremor subsided, leaving them panting and sweating, but alive. After the moment of danger passed, they stepped back onto a safer section of the bridge. Aaron looked at Nola, his chest still racing from the adrenaline. "That was close," he said, managing a nervous laugh. Nola smiled faintly, her eyes bright. "Too close. But we handled it together." For a moment, they stood side by side, the wind cooling their flushed faces. The chasm stretched below them, dark and quiet, but the bond between them felt stronger than ever. Aaron realized that in that moment of danger, he had trusted Nola completely, and she had trusted him. That trust was heavier than any weight the bridge could carry. As they continued their inspection, Aaron began to notice small details he hadn't before. The way Nola adjusted the stabilizers with precise, careful movements. The way she observed the energy nodes, predicting their behavior almost instinctively. And the way she looked at him occasionally, a subtle acknowledgement that went beyond professional respect. By midday, they reached a particularly unstable section near the far side of the bridge. Sparks flickered from a cracked node, and a thin panel groaned under their combined weight. "Careful here," Nola warned. "We may have only one chance to stabilize this node." Aaron nodded, moving into position while Nola adjusted her scanner. Together, they synchronized their actions, Aaron steadying the glass while Nola recalibrated the energy flow. The node stabilized, the flickering stopped, and the panel hummed steadily. They leaned back, relief washing over them. For a few moments, neither spoke, just enjoying the silence and the accomplishment. The bridge, once dangerous and unpredictable, now seemed almost alive under their care. "Good work," Aaron finally said, smiling. "You too," Nola replied, a soft warmth in her voice. "We make a good team." Aaron felt a surge of something more than pride, something tender, unspoken, and new. He realized that danger had brought them closer, that their shared experiences were forming a bond neither had expected. As they walked back to the cliffside, the sun dipped lower, casting golden reflections across the glass. They didn't need to speak. The bridge had tested them, challenged them, and in the process, they had discovered each other's courage, intelligence, and resilience. That night, as Aaron rested in the colony barracks, he thought about the shattered glass bridge and the trust it had built between him and Nola. Every tremor, Every flicker of energy, every step across the fragile panels had drawn them closer. And he knew, with quiet certainty, that whatever challenges awaited them tomorrow, they would face them together. The bridge was not just a structure now, it was a symbol. A symbol of strength, of teamwork, and of something budding between two people who had risked everything for each other. The morning sun stretched across the cliffs of Viralaya, turning the shattered glass bridge into a ribbon of gold and silver. Aaron arrived first, his boots crunching softly on the rocky edge. The wind was gentle, carrying the faint hum of energy from the bridge. Nola appeared moments later, her scanner in hand and her eyes scanning the panels with quiet focus. "Ready?" she asked, a small smile tugging at her lips. "As ready as ever," Aaron replied, returning her smile. He felt a strange warmth seeing her again, a feeling that had grown slowly since they first met on the bridge. Today's task was one of the most dangerous yet. The last section of the bridge still had unstable nodes, and repairing them required absolute precision and courage. Both knew that even the smallest misstep could send them plummeting into the chasm below. They stepped onto the bridge together, moving carefully. Aaron's hand brushed against Nola's as they adjusted an energy node, and a subtle tension ran between them. Neither spoke immediately, the focus was on the work. But the brief contact lingered, leaving a warmth in both of their chests. "Watch this section," Nola warned, pointing to a thin panel near the middle. "It is weaker than the rest. We must coordinate perfectly." Aaron nodded. "I'm with you." Together, they crouched, checking the cracks and energy readings. Step by step, they reinforced the glass, securing nodes with a mixture of human intuition and Viralian precision. Their movements were synchronized, a silent conversation in trust and timing. The panel began to stabilize under their hands, humming steadily. After the immediate danger passed, they took a moment to rest on a small secure platform. The wind whipped gently around them, carrying the sound of distant chimes from the energy nodes. "Aaron," Nola began hesitantly, her gaze fixed on the shimmering panels below. "I've been thinking. Working with you, it's different. You're not just strong or skilled, you understand the bridge, the danger, and me." Aaron felt his heart skip a beat. "I feel the same, Nola. I've never trusted anyone so quickly. You make me want to be careful, precise, and more." He paused, realizing how close he had come to admitting more than he intended. "More aware, I mean." Nola's eyes softened. "I know. I feel it too. The bridge, it tests everything, but with you here, I feel safer and happier." They shared a quiet moment, letting the words settle. The bridge stretched before them, fragile yet shining, reflecting the growing connection between them. The shared danger and teamwork had forged something stronger than either expected. The day continued with careful repairs. Sparks flickered as energy nodes adjusted, but neither wavered. Every movement required focus, but also trust. Aaron would guide Nola physically across unstable panels, while she recalibrated the energy nodes. Their coordination was flawless, and each success built confidence in the bridge and in each other. By afternoon, they reached the final unstable section. The panel trembled under their weight, threatening to crack. Aaron crouched, adjusting the stabilizer, while Nola guided him with precise instructions. A sudden tremor ran through the bridge, and for a brief moment, time seemed to freeze. "Step back slightly," Nola directed calmly. "Now, stabilize it." Aaron followed her voice, moving in perfect sync. Together, they reinforced the final node. Sparks flew briefly, and then the panel glowed steadily, humming with energy. Relief washed over them, and for a moment, they simply stood side by side, looking at the bridge they had saved. Aaron turned to Nola, their shoulders almost touching. "We did it," he said softly. "Yes," Nola replied, her gaze meeting his. "We really did." A quiet smile passed between them, full of understanding, trust, and something more, something neither had expected but both now recognized. The bridge had been a test of skill, courage, and resilience, but it had also revealed their feelings for each other. As they stepped back to the cliffside, the sun dipped lower, casting golden light across the glass panels. The bridge glimmered, repaired, and stronger than before, a reflection of their partnership. Aaron realized that the bridge was more than a structure, it was a path that had brought them together, shaping their bond through challenge and trust. Walking side by side, Aaron felt a quiet certainty. Danger had shown them their strengths, and collaboration had shown them their hearts. Nola's presence had become essential, not just for the mission, but for him. And he sensed, in the warmth of her hand brushing his briefly as they left the bridge, that she felt the same. Tonight, as the colony celebrated the day's progress, Aaron could not stop thinking about the bridge, the challenges, and the bond that had grown between them. They had faced danger together, survived trembling panels and unstable nodes, and discovered a connection that was both fragile and strong, like the shattered glass bridge itself. And for the first time, he realized that the bridge would not be the only thing shining tomorrow. The morning air was crisp and quiet as Aaron and Nola approached the shattered glass bridge. Today was the most important day of their mission, the final repairs. The sun reflected off the glass panels, making the bridge shimmer like a fragile ribbon stretching across the deep chasm. Every step carried weight, every movement required focus. "Are you ready for this?" Nola asked, her voice calm but her eyes revealing a spark of tension. Aaron nodded, adjusting the strap of his tool pack. "As ready as I'll ever be. Let's finish this together." They stepped onto the bridge, moving slowly, carefully. The panels beneath them hummed, some glowing steadily, others flickering as the energy nodes struggled to maintain balance. This was the most dangerous section yet, and even a single misstep could have disastrous consequences. As they reached the midpoint, a deep vibration ran through the glass. Sparks flew from a cracked energy node, and a small section of the bridge tilted slightly. Aaron's heart raced, but he kept calm, focusing on the task. "Hold my hand," he said to Nola, reaching for her. She grasped it firmly, and together they moved to a more stable section. The physical contact was brief, but it sent a small, reassuring warmth through both of them. Danger was always present here, but so was trust. "Careful," Nola said, her voice steady. "This node needs both our attention. We must adjust the energy simultaneously." Aaron nodded, crouching beside her. He guided the stabilizer while Nola recalibrated the energy flow. Sparks flew again, the panel groaning under their weight, but slowly, steadily, it began to stabilize. Suddenly, a tremor shook the bridge. The glass quivered, and a crack ran across one of the panels. Aaron instinctively grabbed Nola, pulling her to safety. The wind howled through the chasm, and for a moment, it felt as though time itself had paused. "Stay close," Aaron shouted. "We can do this together." Nola's hand tightened around his, and they moved as one, adjusting the final energy node. Step by careful step, they synchronized their actions, their combined skills guiding them through the danger. Sparks danced around them, but their focus never wavered. Finally, the last node stabilized. The energy flowed evenly through the bridge, and the trembling stopped. They both exhaled, relief flooding their bodies. The shattered glass bridge, once fragile and unpredictable, now hummed with strength and balance. They sat on a secure platform, shoulders brushing, catching their breath. Aaron looked at Nola, noticing the determination and courage in her eyes, the way she had faced danger without hesitation. "You were amazing," he said softly. "I couldn't have done this without you." Nola smiled, a faint warmth in her expression. "And I couldn't have done it without you. We work well together." For a moment, the world felt quiet, the danger forgotten, leaving only the connection that had grown between them. The bridge, shimmering beneath the sunlight, reflected the trust and care that had been built through every tremor, every spark, and every step they had taken together. Aaron took a deep breath. "Nola, I've realized something. Facing danger with you, trusting you, it means more than the mission. I care about you." Nola's eyes widened slightly, and then softened. "I care about you too, Aaron. More than I expected. The bridge, the challenges, they showed me that." A brief, quiet smile passed between them, a moment of unspoken understanding. The bond they had formed on the bridge, through risk and trust, had grown into something deeper, something neither had planned, but both welcomed. They stood, brushing off dust and checking their tools one last time. The bridge hummed beneath them, fully stabilized, a testament to their teamwork, skill, and courage. But more than that, it was a symbol of the connection they had built, fragile, strong, and beautiful. As they stepped off the bridge together, the sun dipped lower, casting golden light across the glass panels. They walked side by side toward the cliffside, a quiet sense of accomplishment and joy between them. The shattered glass bridge had been their challenge, their test, and now, it was also a reminder of trust, courage, and the bond that had formed between two people willing to face danger together. That night, as Aaron rested in the colony barracks, he thought about the bridge, the tremors, and the moments he had shared with Nola. Every danger had brought them closer, every success had strengthened their bond, and every spark of energy had reflected the quiet warmth between them. For the first time, Aaron realized that the shattered glass bridge was more than a mission. It had become a place where courage, teamwork, and something unexpected, something tender had grown. And he knew that, with Nola by his side, whatever came next would be faced together. The morning sun bathed the shattered glass bridge in warm light, turning it into a sparkling ribbon of gold and silver. Aaron and Nola stood at the cliff's edge, gazing at their handiwork. The bridge, once cracked and unstable, now hummed steadily with energy. Every panel glowed softly, every node balanced perfectly. The colony's vital trade route was safe, thanks to their courage, skill, and teamwork. "Looks beautiful, doesn't it?" Nola said softly, her eyes tracing the shimmering panels. Aaron smiled, feeling a quiet pride. "Yes. Stronger than I imagined. And we did it together." Nola's gaze met his, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to pause. The danger, the tremors, the sparks, all of it had led to this moment. Their hands brushed as they checked their tools, sending a small thrill through both of them. There was an unspoken understanding now, a bond that went beyond mission or duty. The colony council arrived soon after, their hovercrafts descending softly onto the plateau. Officials and engineers celebrated the success, congratulating Aaron and Nola on stabilizing the bridge. Trade ships would be able to cross safely once again, and the colony could thrive. Aaron and Nola stood together as the council praised their work. But beneath the official congratulations, both knew the most important achievement wasn't the bridge, it was the connection they had formed. Every tremor they survived, every dangerous step they took together, had built trust and something more tender, something that neither of them could ignore any longer. Later, as the celebrations continued, Aaron and Nola found a quiet spot on a platform overlooking the chasm. The bridge stretched beneath them, glowing in the late afternoon sun. The energy nodes hummed steadily, a gentle reminder of the danger they had faced and the skill it had taken to overcome it. "I still can't believe we made it," Aaron said, sitting down beside her. "Every step felt like a challenge, but somehow, we did it." Nola smiled, her eyes warm. "We did. And we did it together. That made all the difference." For a moment, silence fell between them, but it was a comfortable silence, filled with unspoken words and shared memories of tremors, sparks, and laughter. Aaron reached out, brushing a strand of hair from Nola's face. She didn't pull away, instead, she leaned slightly closer, her gaze steady and trusting. I want you to know something," Aaron said softly. "Being here, with you, through all of this, I've realized how important you are to me. Not just for the bridge, but for me. I care about you, Nola." Nola's eyes softened, and a gentle smile appeared. "I care about you too, Aaron. I didn't expect this when we started, but, working together, trusting each other, it's changed everything. You've shown me courage, patience, and something kind. Something that makes me feel safe." Aaron felt his chest swell with warmth. The bond they had built on the fragile glass of the bridge, in moments of danger and trust, had blossomed into something deeper than either had anticipated. They leaned closer, the wind carrying a gentle warmth around them. The bridge below shimmered like a ribbon of light, a testament to their teamwork and courage. And now, it also symbolized the connection they had built, fragile but strong, shining because it was nurtured with care and trust. For a long moment, they simply sat together, watching the energy nodes pulse in quiet rhythm. The dangers they had faced, the tremors that had tested their skill and courage, now felt like threads weaving them closer together. The bridge had brought them here, to this moment of quiet understanding, respect, and growing affection. As the sun dipped lower, casting golden reflections across the glass, Aaron reached for Nola's hand. She took it, her fingers intertwining with his. It was a small gesture, yet it spoke of trust, partnership, and something more, something neither wanted to leave behind. The shattered glass bridge stretched behind them, repaired and shining, carrying the weight of both trade and memory. And in that moment, Aaron and Nola realized that the bridge was not just a structure, it was a symbol. A symbol of courage, teamwork, and the bond that had grown between two people who had faced danger together and discovered something extraordinary in the process. Hand in hand, they stood on the cliff, watching the last rays of sunlight glimmer across the bridge. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, they celebrated not just the repaired bridge, but the journey they had shared and the connection that would guide them forward. The shattered glass bridge was no longer fragile. And neither was the bond between Aaron and Nola. Together, they had built something strong, beautiful, and enduring, something that would last far longer than the bridge itself.